Well, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy debuted his plan to lift the U.S. debt ceiling by $1.5 trillion, kicking off the next phase of the government's debt limit fight. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman to break it all down. So is this the beginning of real negotiations? Is this a non-starter with the other side? How should we read this?
It depends what happens next. So we can go through the list of what's in this proposal, but that matters a little bit less than whether House Republicans can actually pass it. So the way to kind of watch the way this plays out is if House Republicans can actually pass this bill, and a vote is likely by sometime next week, then it will give them more leverage to negotiate with Democrats who control the Senate. Now, there's no chance that even if this bill does pass the House, that it will pass the Senate because Democrats control the Senate. But if Republicans in the House can demonstrate, yes, they are unified, yes, they basically all agree that this is the right approach, and they can pass a piece of legislation in the House, then that will actually force Democrats in the Senate to begin negotiating. If they can't pass it in the House, then it just like Republicans are in disarray. They can't agree among themselves, and the ball remains in their court. They're the ones, Republicans in the House, remember, they're the ones who are saying we're not going to agree to lift the debt ceiling. So they have to demonstrate that they can come up with their own plan. And that's basically what this is all about. Again, a vote expected on this next week, probably late next week. So that's when we will know what happens next.
And as we've talked about this whole time, as we've been watching this unfold, Rick, we've been talking about the markets obviously are not pricing in that this could potentially happen, right? That a default could happen, that something could go wrong with this. Is there any, how should people be thinking about that?
I wish I could just tell everybody, ignore the entire thing because it's just political theater. It is. But there's always a chance that something goes wrong. So I think the reason that the markets are not pricing in anything that would even remotely resemble the U.S. defaulting on its obligations is that every time this has happened before, there has been some kind of resolution. Now, this did get really ugly once. That was back in 2011 when it went right down to the wire. I mean, literally within a couple of hours of the U.S. actually having to default. The stock market really did go down by about 10% leading up to that, and it took about 6 months for the market to recover its losses. So that's one instance where it did have this whole stupid process over raising the debt ceiling did have a material impact on financial markets. But all the other times, it has gotten resolved, yes, at pretty close to the last minute. But neither political party wants to be the one voters blame when we have this complete catastrophe that the U.S. Actually defaults on its obligations and the entire financial market worldwide goes haywire. So that's why this is not, a default is not priced in. But these politicians in Washington are going to force us to pay attention to this stupid drama all the way up until till pretty close to the last minute. And one other thing I would point out, guys, we don't know exactly when the date will come when the Treasury literally runs out of money and it does not have enough money to pay everything it has to pay. But there's some indication it could come sooner than we have been expecting. And that is because tax receipts, as people are finalizing their taxes, are coming in a little bit lower than expected. So that means the Treasury has less wiggle room, less kind of cash flow coming in. And this could come to a head as early as June. Some analysts are now saying before this, they were thinking maybe late summer or early fall. So this could happen a little sooner than we think.
Yeah, somebody's going to have some explaining to do, especially with, about 19 months until the next general election as well. People got receipts, right. Rick. Thanks so much.